My relationship with Pajals really began through my local racial equity and justice work. And several years ago, it seemed as though Pajals was one of the few organizations that was actually taking a historical and also looking at the current realities of racial inequities across the nation and also locally. Pajals was willing to have conversations around how white supremacy was showing up even within their own organization, the willingness to be honest and transparent around how white supremacy shows up in even the good work we are trying to do, and what are the intentional ways and practices we need to adopt in anti-racism.
Been a member of Pajals for many years. I got the opportunity to serve on the steering committee. It was in 2020, which is the beginning of the pandemic. I was really surprised at how much Pajals could accomplish during the pandemic. Mostly we just switched to virtual and had a lot of Zoom meetings, and then we had conferences, fundraisers, and webinars, and a lot of people attended by Zoom, and it really gave us an opportunity to remain connected to each other through this very isolating time.
This idea came about bringing Ian Haney Lopez to Spokane to talk about dog whistling, to talk about race-class narrative. He was invited to be our speaker at the Pajals conference, and then from there, that conversation evolved into having the Bold Academy, and I got involved basically helping to brainstorm about exactly how we should tailor the Bold Academy into the Spokane context with issues that are relevant to Spokane, but also with other skills and knowledge that our Pajals community might benefit from.
The goal of Bold is to give participants the tools to look at the problems from a different perspective and to talk to our neighbors and our community members about issues that are important to all of us. What we have been doing is going door to door, talking to people, what we call deep canvassing. So we're having deep conversations with people. Right now, the conversations are about the No New Jail campaign or No Jail expansion campaign.
Pajals' willingness to help people see how issues are interconnected and how we as folks that are impacted are also interconnected. I think it was Audre Lorde who said, we do not live single issue lives, right? And Pajals really lives that out by bringing people together to say, how are the issues we are dealing with interconnected? How is economic justice connected to racial justice? How is it connected to ecological justice? How is that connected to the larger peace movement?
In the past few years, Pajals has been focusing particularly on criminal justice reform, immigrants' rights, and police accountability, and fighting against mass incarceration, in addition to many other issues.
One of the key roles that Pajals plays in Spokane is to demystify activism, bring the backstage to the front so that people understand that there are all these planning, there are all these time and efforts going into organizing.
Pajals has been growing in numbers of members and in our ability to reach out to the community. And what we try to do is to both be proactive and also to respond to issues, to events, to policies, particularly that affect oppressed peoples and marginalized peoples, both locally and throughout the community. And I think that's a really important part of what has driven Pajals to efforts toward peace and justice over the last 45 years.
And weaving connections now and in the future is really to continue to create space for us to dream and practice at a smaller scale the kind of community that we want to belong to and create at a larger scale. The communities that we dream about that are just, that are safe, that are liberated, that are also fun and full of pleasure and good food and community.
I want people to recognize that nobody was born to be an activist. People sometimes get intimidated thinking, well, I don't have the skill set, I don't have the personality, I don't have the charisma, when a lot of the work that you see all these activists do is the outcome of many years developing the skills and acquiring the knowledge and learning by trial and error,
the work that's necessary for the world that we want to create, like we have to be willing to make mistakes and have a community that's willing to be accountable to the communities most impacted by structural and systemic oppression. I believe Pajals has what it takes to continue to foster and build those relationships and to show others in our community what that looks like, and just to practice out loud and to continue to be vulnerable and transparent and be an organization that we can be proud to belong to.
I really like the idea about how ordinary people can come together. It is the ordinary people who are the backbone of our social movement. They are the backbone that actually bring about social change instead of just the charismatic leaders who are up front. And I think this is why we think connections is important. It is why building community is important, and I really appreciate the work that PJL has done on that.